All right, next up for Killer Croc Gator Week, which honestly, this is probably going to be my last one just because, there's some there that are interesting for me. And I know a lot of people are like, no, Lake Placid. But you guys know how I am at that series. So if I ever do Lake Placid, I will be doing 1, 2, 3, final chapter, Anaconda versus Lake Placid. Like, I'll save it for like a crossover event. I'll do all the Lake Placids, all the Anacondas, like the freaking Hunt of the Blood Orchid, and all the stupid Anacondas, and then we'll finish it up with the verses, the fucking Lake Placid versus Anaconda. Yes, they made that movie, and there's a lot of versus movies out there that a lot of people aren't aware of. I know there's some people that are aware of that, but I know there's a lot of people who are not aware of that, but that does exist. Tons and tons of versus movies out there. I've even had the pleasure of seeing The Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. And I saw 3 of the Evil Dead Man movies and 3 or 4 of the Evil Bong movies. Whatever was available at that time when Evil Bong versus came out. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. And I got a full moon streaming subscription and I knocked them all out. I really wish I would have had my channel for years before I started it, because I do not want to go back and watch almost any of these movies. And I wish I had the channel at that time so that I could have just reviewed them and never had to watch them again. That's why I've never knocked out the Puppet Master series or a lot of different series, because there's so many shitty installments. Like the Amityville series, I've seen 14 of those. And I don't want to go back and watch almost any of them except for a few, maybe 4 of them. One day I'm gonna do it though. Maybe it'll be a patron request. But until that day. All right. So we have Dark Age. Now this was recommended to me by a follower of mine on Instagram. See, you can hit me up privately, and sometimes it works out. Because he hit me up and was like, hey, there's this movie from Australia, check it out, here's the YouTube link. And I was kind of running low on titles because I didn't want to get into the real shit. I saw some garbage, bottom of the barrel, Sci-Fi Channel, bad Sci-Fi Channel, because Sci-Fi Channel is actually good now, but Once Upon a Time Sci-Fi Channel, garbage. Which is funny because that's what the Lake Placid sequels are like. But yeah, I was I don't know, man. I was kind of looking. There's an alligator movie called Alligator, or Giant Alligator, or something from 1979. I think there's 2 of them. And then you could get really into these, but I don't know. I don't want to watch too many because I got to do Slasher Sunday tonight still, and Monster Monday tomorrow, and I got a long ass day, so I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, Dark Age. Now that we're 3.5 fucking minutes in, I also want to give a shout out really quick to a new patron of mine that joined at the First to Die level, and I feel like all the people in the world who have the most impossible names to pronounce get together and are like, let's just go to Jason's Patreon and give him some money so that he'll have to say our name and look like a fucking fool trying to pronounce it. This one's not too bad, but when at first glance I was like, wait, huh? All right, so Amy Zarzewski. No, I fucked that up. Zarzewski. It's the woo that there's no way. Zawooski. Yeah. That's the only. Zawooski. It's gotta be. Zarzewski? That just sounds fucking wrong. That's just coming out of my mouth. It sounds stupid. But now I just insulted your name by saying it sounds stupid. But I don't know. It sounds stupid coming out of my mouth. If that is how it's pronounced, I'm not saying your name sounds. I guess I did say that. Oh well, I just gotta live with that. Sorry. Okay, yeah, there you go. Now I've lost a patron because I've criticized her name. No, hopefully you understand. All right, So this movie stars John Jarratt yet again. All right, so we watched Rogue. It's almost like it's come full circle now. I started with Rogue at the beginning of Killer Croc Week, and now if this really is the end, we'll end it. I could call this the final chapter and then do 15 more like Friday the 13th. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Although they had 2 finals in that franchise. I don't know any other franchise that has 2 finals, except for like Final Destination or something. That doesn't count. Actually saying like the final Friday, like it does in 2 titles in the Friday the 13th franchise, is crazy. But almost every franchise has a final movie, and it never is. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, freaking Friday the 13th Part 4 and 9, Saw the Final Chapter, Final Destination, The Final Destination. It goes on, and Lake Placid, The Final Chapter, and they made like 3 fucking more of those things. But yeah, John Jarratt was in Rogue, and I was talking about how cool that was because that was directed by Greg McLean, and he's the antagonist in the Wolf Creek franchise. And here he is in this Croc movie with him, and then I go to find out from Rock and Roll Hell that there is another John Jarratt led movie. He's like the the main dude in this, the hero. All right, so this movie was fairly enjoyable. It was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't any. How many of these have I watched? This is like the 7th or 8th one. Better than Mutation, that's for damn sure. And probably, I don't know. Eaten Alive, it's a better movie than Eaten Alive, but Eaten Alive is just wackier. That movie's so bizarre. I still haven't talked about that. I did watch it. I'm doing it on the podcast on Tuesday, along with Crawl. I'm going to do a spoiler discussion there. But yeah, this is towards the bottom because I watched a lot of great freaking Gator Crocodile movies, but I still like this. There's some cool stuff going on here. Okay, so there is this crocodile that's like ancient, of course. That's like a few of these movies have done that now. And these aboriginals. Am I saying that right? Aboriginals, yeah. Why did Aboriginals is what I was trying to say. Fucking hell, I'm going right now. But yeah, Aboriginals, they worship this thing like he is not a god, but they worship the thing. I don't know if they think of it as a god or not, but they have a protector, an overseer of sorts that goes from generation to generation, and looks out for this thing. And so when his protector dies, they take 2 of his bones and feed it to the crocodile there, and that means that he's immortal. At least that's what Kathy here thinks. That's why he can live on, because he's like absorbing their souls or some shit. I don't feel like the movie ever really goes down a supernatural path or anything outside of what we know, but she definitely seems to be buying into that, which is silly, but that's her explanation for it. This is why this thing's like 25 feet long and chomping on everybody. You get to see poachers get poached here a few times by the Croc. Love seeing that stuff. Guys who go out and like big game hunt, or guys who go out and just murder freaking animals for their pelts and stuff. Ugh, I can't stand that shit. So to watch them get chomped on is great. The protector of this monster, I can't remember what they called the thing. It put it up on the screen, and it was like a Zarzewski kind of thing. I was like, I have no idea what the hell that's. They say it a few times in the movie too, and I was like, what? I don't understand what they're saying. It's an interesting name, but yeah. So Man, we actually get to see a kid chomped in this. So she's running down, Kathy here, who's really pretty. She's running down to the shore. Get out of the water, get out of the water. Shark, shark, shark. And this kid's standing there. She goes to run for the kid. You think for sure she's going to grab this kid and get out of the harm's way. Just like last second hero moment. And no, we see this kid go into the alligator's mouth and he just chomps and blood just erupts all around the water. Fucking amazing. It's like a freaking dummy kid that goes in the mouth, but it's awesome. It's like that cut scene of the picture of the cut scene you see from Jaws where he's coming up on the raft on the Kittner boy. It reminds me of that, except for it's actually in the movie. So, of course in real life I would not want to see a kid die, but in a movie, you just don't expect it. When it happens, it's kind of like all right, good for you. Good for you. Good for you doing that. Most people don't have the balls to do it. But she did jump in there for him. And she did try. So she's got it. She's got that edge. She will definitely jump into harm's way to help other people. Until you're in those situations, you never know if you have it in you to do something like that. But she cares. And so she goes and berates John Jarrett's character here by the name of Steve, because I actually wrote down the names this time. I actually wrote down the names. After 2 years of doing this, I'm starting to learn. Okay, so Steve and Kathy, the only two names I wrote down. Everyone else, fuck off. But there you go. So Steve and Kathy used to date, right? They used to boom, boom, boom. And they are going at each other in this. Not sexually yet, because we'll get to that. But they're going at each other, and she assesses that so poignantly as well. Like, what a bitch. She comes at him, and she's like, you never wanted to have kids, so therefore there's no way you can care that this kid just died. Really? That's your argument? Just because I don't want to have children? Now, as he says in the movie, I like kids, I just don't want them. And I can respect that completely. I don't trust people who don't like kids. I've always known them to be extremely selfish people. Not like, it's okay to be selfish. There's nothing wrong with being selfish at a point, to a point. You got to take care of yourself. Who the fuck else is going to? So nothing wrong with being selfish. But this is like selfish to the nth degree. Of the encounters I've had with people who just outright not only don't want kids, but hate them, there's something wrong there. Just my encounter with those kinds of people. But he's like, I love kids. That's not what it is. I just don't want to have them. And having kids, I completely understand where he's coming from. Kids are very tough, and they do take all of you. They don't just eat food, they eat time. They're just like grabbing watches and clocks and just munching on them because they love time, man. That is what they get their nutrition out of. So she runs off, and then later she comes back and they're talking, and they go to dinner, and they're sitting down at a table, and the guy's like, let me tell you what fish we have tonight. I'm guessing, I don't know, in Australia, is all they eat is fish, or is this just like a fish joint? But they decide, they just throw some money on the table, and they're like, we're getting the fuck out of here, and grab like a bottle of wine and walk out, or champagne, or whatever the hell they were drinking. Whatever the hell these Australians drink from freaking Foster's, right? Yeah, right. I talk to Australians, they're like, Foster's. Nobody fucking drinks Foster's here. That's some Americanized bullshit. But yeah, so they go off, and they're having a little, discussion yet again of why they broke up. And she's like, you had lipstick on your underwear right by your dick. And he's like, that was paint from a Croc freaking enclosure or something. She's like, bullshit. And they're going on, and she's like, essentially, she just comes at him and is like, you are a lousy fuck. And then just gives him this, like, which I guess is an aphrodisiac in Australia, because, like, they hard cut to them pounding. No, they're not pounding. It's all sensual. But it's like an awkward sensual. Like the way he's like rubbing her arm and her back and everything. It just doesn't feel sensual. I don't feel like I'm reading no romance novel or anything. Yeah. The tagline of this movie is just when you thought it was safe, down under. During that scene, just when you thought it was safe, to go down under. That should have been the title. That would have been fucking great. But I'm guessing that they thought it was going to be taken sexually. But I feel like just the tagline alone, just when you thought it was safe, down under, that's sexual anyways. But to go down under is even funnier. And I just wish they would have went with that because, yeah, that would have been really funny to point out. But I'm just going to fill it in and pretend that's what it was. All right. But yeah, after he bangs her, we get to see some boobs. Little bit. Not like little bit of on her chest, like a little bit of boob. It's just kind of like a flash, like a nipple flash, like like how do you do and goodbye. And it's like, oh, that was nice to see you for a second, but I really wish we could have spent more time together. But we move on from that, unfortunately. And she looks like she's a satisfied customer. I think she was faking him out, honestly. I think she was calling him out. She was like, look, you're a dead fuck. Prove me wrong. She cried some alligator tears, some crocodile tears. Wait, no, it's alligator. Yeah, alligator tears, right? Ha ha ha. All this is a crocodile movie. I don't care. It fucking works. The joke works. And the eyes on this thing at night legitimately glow. Yeah, they grow. Like the fucking eyes just keep getting bigger throughout the movie. No, they glow red. Like a fucking T-800 Terminator from the original Cameron Terminator is fucking straight up. I thought he was going to turn to the camera and be like, fuck you, asshole. Yeah, some red ass term. That's what it was. That thing was set back by Cyberdyne to take out John Connor, and they accidentally sent it to the Outback instead of Los Angeles. Damn. They or actually no, they were going after Sarah Connor, which this is 87, and I want to say when did they send him back to? It's what year is it? It's like 1980. I mean, the movie's in 84, right? So it's probably what year they sent him back to. Okay, we're not here to talk about fucking Terminator, but we should be. And I've already covered that on Slasher Sunday because yet again, I will defend that is a slasher movie with guns. Fight me on it. I don't give a shit. All right. Bully here. Okay, so we have this guy who chases down with his friends this old man who's in the road, drunk man in the road, which I just saw a movie where this happened. And I just reviewed it recently, where this old man's out in the street and he yells at a car as it goes by and it circles back around. It was that damn movie with the guy who couldn't be killed unless his brain was shot. What the hell? Absurd? Yeah. Zombie 6. Yeah. Freaking Monster Hunter. That's right. When I did the zombie series for Keen Gross, they were doing the same thing, where they're just bullying some poor old drunk man who just wants to yell at cars. And so they go back, and one of them's beating him up in the water because on land isn't enough. He wants to drown him a little too. It's just fucking like waterboard him as well. And the Croc comes up and chomps on him. Now, in the movie, when Kathy is talking to Kendi from Howling 3, that's how I know him. Howling 3, the Marsupials. Now, there is a series I needed to knock out. All the Howlings. Even the freaking remake, reborn thing that they made. Oh, but I never want to sit through 4 or 7 again. They're so bad. But I really do like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and that's it. That Reborn movie I barely remember, but I remember it not being very good. But anyway, all right. So they're talking to him, and it's the protector. And she's just like, he killed this boy. Wouldn't you care if it was your kid? This and that. And he's like, look, we think who he kills is meant to die. Like, essentially, like, I guess they do kind of think of him like a god, or I don't know what the hell they think of him as, but they seem to think that he is balanced. How about that? They look at him like he is there to clear away what needs to go. And so this kid, he says, look, the kid's sick all the damn time. Tired of taking care of this little motherfucker. So we're just going to let this crocodile just come and chomp, chomp, and then our problems go away. And she's like, you can't fucking believe that, can you? And I don't know, throughout this movie, that crocodile had me thinking I might be on the side of he really is there to clean up the trash. Because if we go to the scoreboard, yeah, the kid was fucked up, but I don't know that kid. Maybe he was hacking up lungs. Maybe he was spreading disease and illness to all the other kids. Maybe that's why everyone ran and he didn't. You know, he was too sick to run, and then this gator came and just put him out of his misery. Okay, misery? Wow, misery. But I was like halfway through that word because I wanted to change it and go back to some other fucking bullshit. Just like half said that word. Oh, Lord. But yeah, he gets chomped. But okay, so one questionable one up on the scoreboard. You don't kill kids, but you know, you did it. You just got to live with it. Maybe he was going for someone else, or maybe he was going for the chick, and then the kid got in the way, and he was like, "Oops," you know. But gods don't make mistakes. I don't know. But he kills the bully. He kills the poachers. He kills the other poacher assholes in this movie. Rips their arms off. All sorts of stuff. So mostly the people he kills in this movie, it's like one kid to like 6 assholes. 6 together if you put the 1 in here. So I'm not wrong with the 5 and the 1. But I guess I don't have 6 fingers on this hand, okay? Maybe if I went and hung out with the alligator from Alligator 2, The Mutation, I'd have 6 fingers on this hand. No wonder people think I'm on drugs. I'm not. Could you imagine me on drugs, though? Holy shit. I would be I'd be something. That's for sure. All right. And then, so they go out and they don't want to kill this thing. So they spear him. They're spearing him. They grab a hold of him, and they essentially do a Jaws moment here when they're putting the barrels on him. No way he can go under with 3 barrels. And, or is it 4? Because there's 4 on the ship, and whatever. It's 4, I think. I'm an idiot. I don't care. But he's just pulling him this way, pulling him that way, and then finally they wrap his jaw and they get him back somehow. They bring the boat back, but then he comes back and he's just like there. And from that point on, like in the movie, it seems like Free Willy. Like it just goes from Killer Croc horror movie to like, you know, what's that episode of South Park when they're trying to get the whale back to the water? So they're trying to get him to the fucking rocket so they can put him back on the moon or whatever stupid shit. It's like that. It's like this adventure movie of saving the endangered animal, and they become almost buddies. Really, honestly, because so Kathy knows where they are, and Steve takes off with the other Aboriginal guys, and they are going to deliver him. And there's this guy's at like a checkpoint because they're trying to return him to his actual area where he's from. Originally, I don't know why the protector wouldn't be out there with them. Like, the Croc's around your people, and you're his protector or whatever, his overseer. Why aren't you around him? Why is he outside of his perimeter? Like, I don't get that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So he's not doing a very good job of keeping track of him. But they take him, and they take him to this like border crossing place where the guy's like, "What you got in the truck here?" And they're like, "Oh, we got trees. Can't you see?" And he goes and he lifts up the tarp, and she's calling, and she's like, "They know he's coming." And he whips the tail whip. There we go. More tail whip for the fucking alligators and the crocodiles. But these guys are racing. So, okay, I don't understand this scene. So they take off in the truck like a while ago. Then these guys come to the plantation or the whatever the hell it is, and they're looking for him. They're like, where the hell is it? Because the guy got his arm bit off, and he wants revenge. He wants retribution. And just like The next scene, the guys in the car are just heading to him, and they're almost on them, like a second later. And like, how far were these guys in the truck that these guys are already on their way? And did Kathy not like hold out the information for even a minute? Were they just like, where'd he go? And she was like, they went that way, go quick, fast. Like, she didn't even go, fuck you, I'm not telling you nothing, or nothing, because it doesn't even have that scene at all where she tells them what happened. But they take off and they're on them. But she goes in the car and she catches up with them, and they're broken down on the side of the road. And then she goes off-roading for 2 seconds and spearheads them, actually crashes into them sort of, because the boat falls off the front of the fucking truck. And then they jump in, they get their car stuck, and these guys have now fixed their car, the overheated car from 10 seconds ago out in the Australian fucking desert when everything's beaten down on them. I guess that car, you know, they cooled it down somehow. Maybe they all pissed in the tank together and they have like ice cold piss. I don't fucking know. But they got that thing fixed like instantaneously. So in like 2 minutes time, the bad guys are rushing out to the guys with the Croc on the back of the truck. She's also in a car, so they didn't even like tie her up, knock her out, do nothing to her. They're just like, where are they? And she's like, oh, they're over here, no big deal. And then I'll call on the phone and tell them, or the radio. And then she jumps in the car, passes them, they're broken down. It all happens in like a minute. And you're like, what the fuck is happening here? It's just like sped up. It's just sped up for time. They're like, fuck it. You know, people will just have to deal with that. It doesn't make any sense. And then they crash the truck, and the stuntman that flies off the hood, I'm going to check the obituaries from that year because I'm pretty sure he died. That was some gnarly ass stunt where he flies off. That body crumples and hits wrong, man. It reminds me of like Final Destination 5 or whatever, when that gymnast goes and just crumples on. Oh, God, that scene's amazing, but fuck, it's hard. And then the guys all come around, and the protector guy just out of nowhere comes out. He was wearing clothes before, to my memory, unless I'm completely remembering this scene wrong, and I'm not. He comes out and he's like got his tribal paint on, and he's in his fucking underwear or whatever the hell you want to call it, and he's got spears and he's chucking them at people. And it's like, you couldn't have done that in your normal outfit? Like, you had to straight up get into like war paint and paint your body and everything. Like, you did that fast. Everything is just sped up in this scene. Like, oh, I'm just going to slip right in. It's like some freaking Superman. He went over, there's a little Australian phone booth there. He just morphed into Aboriginal protector spear chucker guy. And then he comes out there and he gets shot in the belly by the guy. And the alligator comes and munches on him. And yeah. And then they go and they feed him. When he dies, they go and they feed him 2 bones. I wonder why he's a man-eater when for the last couple centuries you've been feeding him human bones. Maybe that'll give him a taste for humans? Once an animal becomes a man-eater, they have to be put down because then they actually want to kill men and eat them. So you probably shouldn't feed them men when you don't want them to eat men, but they think it's okay. They think it's all right. So they're like, oh, well, that little kid should have died. Fuck him. God says so because he sent a crocodile. And yeah, I think that's all. I don't know. I went so off script. I didn't even look at half that shit. Whatever. There we go. 30-minute fucking review. Holy God. I thought I was going to talk about this thing for like 10 minutes, but I never stop talking, do I? But what kind of a channel would this be if I didn't talk? I've actually had people who are like, can you ever just shut up? And it's like, that would be a fun fucking channel. Here, let's see what that channel's like. Fun. Fucking fun. Good idea. Thanks for the fucking tip. Adios.